Each and every week, we keep you plugged in with what the Springfield Business Journal's working on, and publisher Michelle Ownby joining us here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. Michelle, it was good seeing you yesterday at the Springfield Chamber of Commerce Small Business Awards, and we'll touch on that here in a moment with the Lifetime Award recipient. But there's another story impacting Humphry's market. Good morning. What's going on?
Good morning, Greg. Yes, as you mentioned, we had put a little blurb up the other day on Monday. Humphry's Market hung a new sign, and normally, of course, that's not something that we would report on, a business installing a new sign. But this one's pretty unusual. This is actually the hand painted side of the semi trailer that the late Henry Humphry used to use when he was traveling across the country to acquire the fruits and vegetables for Humphry's Market. So they worked with Ace Sign Company, of course, another long-standing multi-generational family business here in town, and they actually turned the side of this truck into their new sign, which was pretty cool. So we had posted something about that, and then, as you mentioned, they ended up being in the news again yesterday at the Chamber Small Business Awards. The current owner, Hope Humphry Walker, was recognized with the Lifetime Award, and certainly well-deserving of that.
I'm looking forward to sharing the conversation I had with Hope, just to hear about the passions that drive them and the importance of having that locally family-owned neighborhood grocery store, something that is sadly disappearing all across the country, but Humphry's Market being in business for as long as they have. Awesome to see them get that Lifetime Business Award with the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce Small Business Awards. But to mention also the other award recipients, the not-for-profit award recipient, Erica Romines with Community Child Care Connection. You also had Hallelujah Holiday Lighting getting the New and Emerging Business Award. And also you had Robert's Seafood Market getting the Small Business Award. And here with WMAY, we'll be airing those interviews throughout the rest of the week. Michelle, something else that's happening in the Springfield business community, people can always stay plugged in with the Springfield Business Journal. Losin It with Sonya Jones. Tell us about this.
Yes, some folks may recognize that name. She was one of the contestants on The Biggest Loser a few years back, and then began a new career as a motivational speaker, and she launched Losin It with Sonya Jones, her coaching, one-on-one coaching and weight loss program. She had lived in Springfield ever since she graduated from college, but a few years ago she actually moved back to Litchfield, where she was born and raised. She has parents there who are aging, and she's an only child, so she said she wanted to be a little bit closer. And during the early days of the pandemic, back in 2020, she actually opened a Litchfield location of Losin It, and has now hired some additional coaches to help her out, and is expanding to the Springfield area. So next week they are having a soft opening for Losin It with Sonya Jones here in Springfield, and that's out on South 6th Street, actually in the old Marine Bank location.
Looking forward to seeing more about that, and of course all of the things that are happening in and around the Springfield business community. Michelle, before we get to this last story, which I think is going to impact people quite significantly, tell us how people can get plugged in regularly with the Springfield Business Journal, not just the Biz Bites, but also the print edition.
Sure. You can go to our website, springfieldbusinessjournal.com, and sign up for Biz Bites. That's the weekly newsletter that comes out every Wednesday, free of charge, with a roundup of what's happening in the business world. Or if you want to spring for $35, you get the full-blown option, the complete print edition mailed to your home or office every month, plus our annual directory.
So make sure you take part in that, not only helping support a incredible publication that keeps everybody plugged in what's going on around the business community, but you also are going to keep plugged in, and you'll know what's happening when it's happening. Let's get to this last story, Michelle. Everybody I know that even gets a taste of MJ's Fish and Chicken Express, they're hooked. But now they're only going to be able to get a catering option. What's going on here?
Yes, so this was particularly devastating news for me. Of course, this is right in my neighborhood. I'm walking distance to MJ's, and I was a regular there for the pork tenderloins and the ribeyes, and oh my gosh, so good. But yes, like many other businesses, they've been struggling with staffing issues. I talked with the owner, Jerome Taylor, the other day, and he said, they just had it was just too much. He ended up doing a lot of it himself, being responsible for running the restaurant, cooking, all the hours that they were open and that sort of thing. So they are keeping their location. They're going to rent it out if people want to do private lunches, fundraisers, parties, things like that. Of course, it's not a huge space, but for small gatherings, people can rent out the facility. And as you mentioned, they're also going to offer the option of catering, or basically picking up items in bulk. They're going to have different weekly specials where you can come by and get your pulled pork platter by the pound, something like that. So good to know that the food will still be available, but not going to be able to pop in for lunch anymore like I've been used to doing.
Well, Godspeed to MJ's, and we'll be watching that space closely. Michelle Ownby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, always appreciate talking with you, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield